Hey guys, Laird here, and recently after watching the 8th episode of Star Wars, I've been thinking a lot about video games and lightsabers. I personally own like 3 lightsaber replicas, and I loved lightsaber combat in Jedi Knight, Jedi Academy games, Jedi Outcast. I actually loved a lot of design solutions in Force Unleashed video game with the reverse grip and everything. So I thought, okay, I have time, I have certain inspiration, so why not try and do my own thing here? And the reason behind doing this video and just going at those things in general is that I actually wanted to I wanted a new lightsaber, and when I found out how expensive the custom lightsabers are, I was like, okay, this is not gonna happen. But I could actually make something fun in terms of gameplay and everything in a video game, and I miss those days of Jedi Outcast and everything. Actually, no, but let me show you quickly what I'm talking about. So, Jedi Academy. Let's see, it's gonna be a multiplayer duel. Okay, so now there are core things about Jedi Academy series of games that are different, that are making them different from, for example, Force Awakens video games with the lightsaber combat. Force Awakens has higher budget, it has cinematic visuals and a lot of really cool animations and everything. But the difference is in the depth of the lightsaber combat. So here we have actual lightsabers, and when they penetrate the enemy dies instantly pretty much, unless, well, actually not instantly, but like with 2 or 3 swings, because you break through his or her shield and that's it. And you regular enemies, as soon as you touch them with a lightsaber blade, just like it would be in terms of physics, they die instantly because you penetrate them. So I thought, okay, this is really nice, and in general I like the idea that you are moving in an agile way and you're swinging your lightsaber at the same time. If we look at the Force Unleashed here, well, let's go here, for example. Do we have any gameplay? Yeah, let's see. So Force Unleashed focuses on, well, first of all, it has this super badass reverse grip, which I love. But then there are some other things. One of those is a lot of force powers used here, which was also, the case in in the Jedi Academy and Jedi Knight game series. But here it's much more prominent. So what you will notice when with the lightsaber combat here is that the movements take time. You cannot move by yourself independently from your lightsaber, and in general it's more like slasher game. When the Jedi Knight, Jedi Academy, all those games, the lightsaber was like a tool which you used independently of your body movements, which is not particularly like 100% realistic, because of course to produce a lot of power you have to go with the blade, use your body and everything. But these are just different games from different genre. So I thought, okay, what if I just concentrate on lightsaber combat? I have some melee sword animations already bought. Let me show you. So this is a 3rd-person project, and by the way, this video in general I'm just making to kind of like get some feedback from you guys to see if you are interested in going through this kind of series with me. We will basically build lightsaber, do some animations in blueprints, work with anim montages, all of this, see how we can kind of like prototype the combat, because like I'm working on a different kinds of projects, and the most fun I'm having is on this early prototype stage. And so this is the kind of like thing that I really would like to spend my free time on. So what we have here is a third-person blueprint template, and in here, if we talk about extra assets, we don't have much. I have this Sword and Shield Anim Set Pro. Let me show you some of those things. So we have our character, and there are like a lot of those. Now this pack doesn't have acrobatics, it doesn't have a lot of things, but I'm really confident that we can make good use of it. Now, because I'm using proprietary animation packs, this means that I'm not able to actually go ahead and release this code freely or this whole project. But I can still, for example, build the whole thing and release the exe file for free. Because I'm not selling it, it's not gonna break any like Disney or Lucasfilm license or anything. If this ever reaches the stage where it's actually like a playable and fun thing. Okay, so of course I'm interested also in the reverse grip, because it's like one of my favorite things in whole lightsaber combat. While it's not practical in general in combat to have a reverse grip, because there's a lot of load on your wrist, but you know, these are lightsabers and we're having fun here. Okay, so what did I do? I created a really simple animation blueprint. It doesn't have state machine, just have this, it just has this, let me go here, this blend space, which was with the supplied with the Sword and Shield Anim Set Pro. Let me quickly show you. So it lets you move in all directions depending on the input, and we're just let's see, some kind of freeze here. Whoa, it really froze completely on me. Okay, now it's here. Okay, so we're just going to the third-person character, which I just altered like slightly. I'm storing the move forward axis value and move right axis value, just right after the input. Okay, so what do we have? Well, we have our guy. And as you can see, he just moves in whichever direction we're pointing, and if we look at the particular direction, he just moves, strafes left and right, back and front. Really kind of like nice setup for combat. He doesn't have any jumping or anything because we don't have a anim state machine, I think that's how it's called. But that's a good start, I think. No extra stuff here. I have a starter content and some other stuff, but it's not really important here. So this stance is used for sword and shield, as you can see. We're gonna use it for sword, which is of course lightsaber, and that's pretty much as far as I think that's pretty much as far as we go with the kind of like the content of this tutorial. Well, not really tutorial, it's more like a series of, you know, programming together with the kind of viewers. I will be really happy to read your comments and see what are your thoughts on this, what could we do. I cannot promise how often we will be able to post this kind of content or anything. Also, I don't know what's happening with my frame rate. For some reason I'm getting less than 30 FPS in the recording. I have no idea, we'll figure it out by next video. But let me show you something cool here. So if we go project settings and we go rendering, should be here. Yeah, there is this mesh distance field. Generate mesh distance field. Okay, so this one is on. Yeah, so theoretically it means that we have now mesh distance fields. Let's see. Visualize now. I think it was here actually. Ambient occlusion, custom depth, no. Material ambient occlusion, custom stencil, final image. I don't think. Okay, maybe it's actually here. Not for H types, definitely. Light types, light and features, developer, no. Okay, here we go. Mesh distance fields. Okay, so we have this thing generate, which is actually like voxel-esque concept, which is basically we have a buffer for a GPU to use, and this buffer is used to kind of determine the shapes of the objects. And GPU can use this in various ways, for example for ambient occlusion, but as far as I remember, volumetric fog also uses mesh distance field. So let's get rid of this thing. Let's see, I think it's here. Okay, so how do we make a lightsaber? So first of all, let's make a lightsaber first, and let's end this video there. So let's see, let's make a new blueprint here. Actor, we call it a lightsaber. Okay, so that's just an empty actor. Fine. Let's talk about visuals first, of course. What's a lightsaber? If we think the simplest geometry, it's basically two cones. Here we go. Actually, okay, no, not cones, cylinders. So let's call this a hilt. And then here in the static meshes we have cylinder, shape cylinder. Here we go. Okay, nice and easy. And this will be our hilt. And let's quickly add this to the third person character. So here's this guy. If we go to the skeletal mesh, we do have a hand R socket. Okay, that's how it's called. Which is fine. Hand R socket. So what we can do now is we can actually go ahead and add child actor lightsaber to the hand R socket, and this will be of course a lightsaber. Boom. So you see it's big, it's bulky. Now we can just go ahead and click this guy here. And so we have this opportunity to just see them both same time and manipulate the side of this guy. So 0.1 maybe. Okay. And then of course in terms of its length. Okay, no. 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 Okay, so this will be something like this, and then we can just remove the snapping. Okay, can you actually hold? Nice. It's gonna simplify things a lot. Well, not really, but we can move at least here. So it doesn't hold it at the exact angle, but it's fine. Let's keep this guy like here and like this. Well, actually it's even more like 5. Save compile. Okay, so let's imagine this is a hilt. A little bit more down. It's more like artistic stuff, right? So more down. By the way, we're moving it down here because it's a little bit easier to manipulate in general, and just have a socket at 0, 0, 0. But okay, so we have this guy going. So how do we make the actual lightsaber blade? Well, let's do some graphics programming. Materials folder, new material. We call it, well, I usually just call it glow. And so this will not have any lighting applied to it. And we'll have a vector parameter for the color. Just call it color. And we have a scalar parameter, which is glow. And let's put this to 100, just right outside the box. And then we put here something like green. So it's a green lightsaber. Multiplied by 100, it's gonna glow a lot. Put it into emissive, it just glows, fine. Okay, so now if we go back here, it's all just stretched. So we duplicate the hilt to get the blade. Thankfully all of these are in meters. Well, actually these are not scaled, it's not in meters, but we know that the cylinder's length is 1 meter. So with scale 1, this is 1 meter. And now all we need to do is just separate it from the blade. By the way, can we give some kind of dark material? Do we have any dark materials? Oops. So let's remove the animation filter and get the material filter. Something like, well, let's see what this does. This is actually looking surprisingly good. Like, really nice. Okay, so blade is gonna be a little bit thinner. Oops, okay. And just put it down there, like this. And actually the size is like 1.25, 1.20, something like this. And if we look at this guy, let's create a material instance here. Lightsaber glow. Okay, here it is. So now we can just give it the glow. And that's it, right? Well, actually no. Let's see how this looks in the level. Oh yeah, by the way, I really suggest when you're testing this kind of stuff, remember to remove all the collisions. Otherwise it's going to be painful to solve some navigation issues and so on. Not in our case, we don't use navigation or anything, but in general this could be a problem. Alright, look at this. Got our lightsaber going on. So this actually looks like surprisingly promising and nice. And of course that's where you start having fun, right? So why not just go ahead? Actually, okay, let's keep this one here, but go to the third person character and just rotate this like... What is it even gonna rotate, by the way? Yeah, okay, maybe not. Okay, right. So let's rotate this guy like this. You see, that's where the problems start, because now you have to move him in, maybe like this. So now we have reverse grip, right? Really nice. So before we just finish this video, let's make a strike, just like a visual thing, right? So let's go to our animation blueprint, and we have slots here. So let's make the use of default slots. Slots are where you put montages. So when you make a anim montage, you, for example, start playing it on our skeletal mesh, and instead of going through this, the montage will say, okay, I'm not letting you go just like pass through. I will play myself. When I finish, I will continue this. So it's like imagine this like a route here. So that's where the montages go. If there are no montages, it just goes here. If there is a montage, it plays the montage unless the montage is finished. I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. It's not montage or something, montage or anything. Okay, so animations, we have a lot of those. Let's pick a couple of those. Something close to lightsaber strike. See, it's not really nice in terms of positioning. This could work, but let's not go two-handed. Okay, this could be interesting. Let's do this. And create any montage. I just call it the same name. Okay, and let's take another one. Do we have L? By the way, what is U? Okay, so we have attack anim L. Well, we have LD. Okay, let's follow up with LD maybe. Okay, just go here, create anim montage. Okay, now we have 2 anim montages, and they're using default slot. Okay, so now let's go here. Let's do it the good guys way, which is go into our project settings, input, and action mapping. Let's call it, of course, fast attack maybe. Okay, let's just call it attack for now. So it's left mouse button. And of course, instantly we can go back to our third-person character. Action attack. And just go ahead, say play montage. Now this is a new thing, new node by the way, it wasn't there before. And then let's go... Okay, let's do it random actually. Random int in range. So if you want to do one of random things, you put here select node. Select is like polymorphic thing, so it can take the type you want it to take. Here we have 2 montages. So let's just take this guy, carry it with us, go back here, and I think we can just do like this and this. And so we will need this kind of like setup later anyway, so let's do this. Let's create a variable called isAttacking. It's a boolean, false by default, and it has a category of attacks just for convenience sake. So if we are not attacking, we can attack. As soon as we start attacking, we go... Actually, we're gonna just set this guy to true. And if we complete it, or we're interrupted, we're gonna set it to false. So this makes sure that we're not like spamming the animation. Let's see if it works. Whoa, it does actually. And look, it actually doesn't even look this terrible. It actually looks surprisingly well. Okay, couple of tricks. Okay, you know what? Let's just do 2 more things. So first thing we will do, we go and let's see. Let's go and slow down the time so that we can see this stuff in a more nice fashion. So on begin play, we're just gonna go and set global time delay. You know what? Okay, let's make it even more fun, I guess. And again, I'm sorry for low FPS. I have no idea why it's low, but let's go third-person character. And as soon as we start like attacking and everything, the time dilation will go down significantly to like 0.5. And this should be like a smooth transition, but who cares, right? And then here we will go back to 1. It's gonna be interesting. Boom. It's not even that bad, you know. Okay, this was I think he hurt himself with this motion. Let's see. Well, maybe not. Okay, so we have time thing. Let's do the last thing I promised. So just go ahead and add the light here. And we will talk about fog and why we needed mesh distance fields later, but for now let's just add a point light to this thing. And it will be attached to the blade, of course. And so with the light, what we can do actually, we will adjust its color later, but for now, let's go in the green areas. Okay. Can we actually see it on the map? Oh yeah, we can see it on the map, nice. So, let's make this thing bigger. I think this is actually good enough. Okay, so what do we want with this light is, of course, lightsabers cast light on the environment. So this one will be bright, like maybe like 1500 cast shadow, quite a lot of attenuation, but it shouldn't be like it shouldn't be obstructed with the blade. Okay, can we actually move it to like 0, 0? Okay, nice. So now what you see what happens is it gets obstructed with the blade, which is not nice. We can solve it though. I think source radius is what actually solves it, but it doesn't work here particularly well, sadly. And we have source length as well, which is going to help us as well. Something like this. Let's give it like 110 and just rotate the whole thing. And I think somewhere here was an interesting flag. Okay, yeah. So I have no idea why it works. But when you switch this cast shadows from cinematic, let's see, from cinematic objects only, it stops being abstracted. For some reason, I have no idea why, but it just works. Okay, so we did this. This is of course slow and everything. I don't really mind. Let's close this thing and just play one more time. So we have a lightsaber which does a lot of light. As you can see, maybe we even like put this down a little bit. So again, core lightsaber, point light. Let's keep it to like 9000. Okay, so this is not that bad now. Oh, and by the way, I can actually, no, I cannot. So root motion takes over, and root motion prevents me from doing things like moving while the animation is played, which is good. Okay, so you see what happens. We're just penetrating ourselves with some of our strikes. But anyway, we have a nice lightsaber. It lights a lot. It does a lot of light. And maybe if we are careful with choosing the animation, we can actually have reverse grip not being that bad. Okay, so please let me know if this kind of content is interesting for you guys. We're gonna go deeper into many things about, you know, fighting system if and when I continue this kind of series. So we'll go and talk about basically how we can ray trace the path of the lightsaber movements, how maybe we can even chop off the different parts of the body. Ideally, I was thinking about networking. One thing I can promise you guys, we will have 60 frames per second, not this kind of performance right now. So I'm really interested in seeing your comments. Thank you for watching, and bye bye.